Hello, NJFFA fans. I'm Brian McGuinness doing your play-by-play here today, along with Matt Landolfi and Matt Washer. Boys, quickly before we start, give me somebody watching this game and who you got.
I'm really excited to watch the lines of both of these groups. I think that's going to pay dividends in this game, and at the end of the day, with Harley not being here, I got to go Warriors in a close one.
And then for me, the big matchup is the quarterback play. Which one comes out, reads the receivers, gets the ball to the playmakers? I'm going to take Gryffindor in a real tight one, but I wouldn't be surprised to go the other way.
All right, that's all for now. We'll see you at half. Here we are on the opening play. Warriors with the ball. Bush takes a snap. Not a great one. And he runs to his left for a nice sizable gain. Dancing as he does.
It's a nice pull there, but Bird really made the play. Guys from Gryffindor really got to get on it a little bit quicker.
Biggest thing with the Warriors here is that their offensive line has come together for them this time for probably their first time in the history that they've been in this league. And I would say it's a big part of their berth here in the championship. Parrish with his one of few touches of the game, I think that really had an impact. We'll talk about more of that later.
Biggest thing in this game is going to turn out that Harley is not on the field right now. He happened to not be here this game.
Like I said before, the matchup with the offensive and defensive lines here was pivotal. You see Bush with an early throw deep. He did not try much of that later on.
Really big key here is Gryffindor's defense. As to take the snap, I'll let Brian take over.
You see Bush rolling out right, throws a dart, but intercepted by Derek Smith, and he starts working his magic. Luckily for Warriors, though, they're able to come back, and there he is, celebrating as always.
Yeah, that really was a really big pivotal point in the game. Derek was a very big contributor on the offensive and the defensive side. He was able to make his presence felt in that play, capitalize on an opportunity that the Warriors presented.
One can say this was really the biggest momentum shift and carried the Gryffindor team for the rest of the way. Gryffindor back here with the ball. Coming up under center, Ryan Gressick, the Messiah. Who knows where Gryffindor would be without him this season? He lines up his squad and takes a good look. Receives a snap, and Dean Gould with the play. Sizable gain, as he always gets.
Gryffindor is one of those teams, they just need to use the run to really open up the pass. Dean made a nice job at keeping his feet in on the sideline and tiptoeing his way for a nice game.
The Gryffindor setting up here again. Again, I'll come back to it. The play of the offensive and defensive lines here, with Gryffindor's line providing Gressick enough time to get the ball out to Weissmuller. Great play.
And we have our first flag. Weissy doing what he does best, making guys miss and getting tackled.
Gryffindor approaching the line. Gressick eyeing up the defense, spying a little bit of pressure, makes an adjustment over to Derek, and a little pitch over to Gould.
What a block. Oof.
Great play.
That's one of those ones that doesn't really show up on the stat sheet, but man, that makes a difference.
Yeah, you feel it.
You get that guy to peek in just a second longer, it opens up running lanes.
Gryffindor's line calling out. Men in front, spying blitzes. And again, Weissmuller on the outside. It's a favorite toy, and it was a big, big gain to have him back on the field for this game.
The Messiah right now has all day to throw, and Gryffindor's O-line is doing a great job giving him time.
See Bush spying up here. He wanted this play. He called it out. He wanted to get that rush. Gressick rolling away from him.
And tip-tap touchdown. Man, I don't know if there's anybody in the league right now that does a better job along that sideline than Antestino.
He is a force to be reckoned with.
Big part of that play, though, is Gressick buying some time, waiting for it to develop, and letting Ant come all across the field and make that play.
Absolutely. And he wouldn't have had that time without his offensive line in front of him working their tails off.
And they break the huddle looking for the conversion.
A little bit of miscommunication here, but they're riding high still.
To be fair, they're probably drunk.
Most likely. Blitz off the outside. Gressick sidearms it. Incomplete, but Hell of a play.
Yeah, great pass breakup by Parrish out there. I mean, really just showing why he's so respected in the league as a two-way player.
You can see the determination on Bush here. He knows that his team needs to get a comeback here. Bad snap again. We saw this all game long. He rolls out, though. Duck of a ball, but he still gets out to his star receiver, Colton Remish.
Nice pull on that right away, too. Really got to limit the yards. That's where Warriors really make their mark. They make you miss. They make you miss tackles, and then they're upfield moving with their speed.
Bush rallies his team forward, dying up that defense. Spies Bird. Another bad snap, but he gets the ball out on a double reverse. This time again, Parrish, ball in his hands. You know what he can do.
He's so shifty. He does a great job really just making his hips nice and loose, making you choose a spot, and as soon as you choose, he counters off it.
I would have liked to see him get the ball more in this game. I would have really enjoyed to see what would have come from a couple more touches. But again, Bush doing things himself, he makes plays happen.
You know, I got to be honest. When I saw Bush line up under center this year for the Warriors, I figured, you know what? He's a great athlete. He'll make some plays with his legs, not with his arm. He really impressed me this year.
Absolutely, and here is his defining play. A draw made to gain a first down, and he makes every Gryffindor player miss on the way for a touchdown.
Really an outstanding run. I mean, he took something that should have been maybe 3-yard gain, 4-yard gain, moved the chains, and stretched it all the way to the end zone. He just has that game-changer ability.
And that's what Warriors do best. They score quick.
You can see the shirt on Brendan Diana right there. Fast as bleep. That describes the Warriors very well.
You know, I think that's one of the things, too, and we mentioned it a little bit earlier, that really went underrated this year. Their line improved so much. I mean, normally that was the place you would target against the Warriors. You knew they were going to have their speed. You knew they were going to get the ball to their playmakers, but you could win up front. Wasn't the case this year.
No, not at all. And that's why we saw them unseat OFG and make a run at the championship. Bush here under center, looking to grab his team back with a couple more points. And a great deflection there by Bird.
You know, really, this year proved how crucial those extra points could be. We saw a lot of close games that could be decided just by that slimmest of margins.
It's something that can't be slept on. You go back to a team like the Monstars, who had a nice dynasty, and they ran one single play every time for their extra points, and it worked every time. Pivotal game, set.
Joe Taggart, a hell of a play there. You know, you really just got to capitalize on your opportunities. And that's what it is. The Warriors thrived off turnovers. They made their mark getting the ball back in their offense's hands or taking it to the house of the defense.
Absolutely. See Bush break the huddle here. Looking to capitalize on this little momentum swing. Another bad snap. But when you get the ball in Parrish's hands, good things can happen. Warriors lining up, attempting another crack at that end zone. They could smell it. It is so close. Bush trying to buy time, and he nails it to Eric Ryan in the back of the end zone on a deep crossing pattern.
You know, that really was made by the offensive line, though. They stood Gryffindor up at the line, gave Bush all day to throw. And we see a couple of the Gryffindor players, their hands on their knees. You know, it makes it real easy when you got a clean pocket back there.
The biggest thing is going to be to watch for is Rich Norland. He's the leader right now in Gryffindor's defensive line. So we got to check his stamina. He's going to be a big game changer in this game if he can't go.
Usually we watch and we see Rich and Harley, the two big beards out there, trying their best to get back to the quarterback. But as Matt mentioned before, Harley's not here, so it's Rich going solo, doing his best. Bush with a pass to the outside of Ethan Valanis, and he still cannot get to the end zone. Great pass breakup by Bush.
This is a big drive for Gryffindor. This is see what they're made of. Warriors came back and answered right away after their score and then got the pick to go up. Now let's see what the Messiah can do.
The board's pretty even at this point, and you have momentum swings going both ways, and you have the Messiah taking the ball. Pass out to Testino, but broken out by the defensive line of the Warriors.
You know, he really lucked out on that pass. I mean, that gets tipped any other direction. The Warriors really could have taken that for 6. He's got to be careful to change his passing lanes, change his arm angles, really kind of work against the defensive line of the Warriors.
Gressick takes the ball again, and he's fighting through traffic, still keeping his eyes downfield, and launches one deep. Derek coming up with another big catch and a big play.
He just, it's incredible how he evades the pressure. You know, you can really tell that Gressick's played at a higher level. Just the way he's able to move in the pocket. He steps up, he steps back, he steps left, he steps right. He just makes people miss.
He's a natural out there. Takes a snap again, he's looking deep. Finds Weissmuller underneath, and a little bit of extracurricular tackle there. Weissy looking for the flag, and he did get it.
Now going back to Derek, you know, I think he's a very underrated player in this league. Not only his ability to play the game, but also the energy he brings to every snap. You know, he himself could be a momentum swing.
Yeah, he definitely does not stop chirping out there, which can be a good thing and a bad thing.
Free play here for the Gryffindor. Gressick looks to take advantage. He does as he finds Derek again in the end zone this time for a crucial score.
Yeah, I mean, the speed kills, and when you're going against speed, you counter it with speed. Derek really made his mark with that pass completion, and I mean, what a perfectly thrown ball too. I mean, to hit a guy full speed, drop it in over his shoulder, where you can't drop it. You just have no choice.
And that's what Gryffindor needed to exactly do. After their first turnover, come back 3 plays later, tie the game up.
Warriors here, pivotal possession for them. They need to drive and score. Bush sees this opportunity. He's looking deep, but he cannot find anybody open. Blanket covered by Gryffindor. He takes it off himself and shuts out of bounds for a small 3-yard gain.
That's something Bush does very well. He had all the time in the world and decided to cut his losses and just take what he can get.
You know, it's a smart play, too, because he picks up a first down. You know, you always want to keep those chains moving, keep yourself in plus yardage situations.
Another bad snap here for the Warriors. Bush makes the best out of it, though, as he's cutting across the field, trying to get whatever he can out of that broken play.
And again, he finds himself out of bounds. Just a heady football play.
You got to wonder what kind of stamina he's working with at this point, as we've seen him time and time again take the ball running across the field, back and forth, trying to make plays happen.
At this point, I'm convinced he just doesn't get tired.
We see him run to the outside one more time. He is stopped by Rich Norland. A little bit of showboating here, which I would say is Rich's repertoire.
And that play was hugely set up by Testino, Mike Testino, coming off the edge and forcing Bush to roll out to Rich.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, he caught him. I'm pleasantly surprised, I guess Rich was, at that play. Maybe that's why he had the big celebration at the end.
Probably had a few frosty cold ones for that play. You know, he loves to pat himself on the back. Bush here looking across the field. Had a bunch of deep crosses. Mike Hagman, Rookie of the Year, possible candidate, coming up with a big catch and near first down.
And he caught that with Dean draped all over him as we see the hold come through.
Can't talk enough about what this guy has meant to the Warriors and the edge that he has brought to them. All the meanwhile, working with one good hand. Bush here with the ball, looking for a little stutter step and go. Colton Rembish looking for the highlight reel catch, ends up being picked off by the Juice and Testino.
That's when he liked to have back. He makes that play all year long. You know, just got a little excited, tipped it right to Ant.
Yeah, I mean, Ant flows to that ball in the backfield real well, too. So, while it should have been caught, you know, you capitalize on the opportunities.
You can't give Gryffindor that kind of chance because they will walk away with it 9 times out of 10. Gressick dancing around again. Finds Steve out of the backfield, making his way down the field.
Who's this Steve guy?
I've heard a lot about him, man. I'm not really sure, but there's a big talk of Steve with Gryffindor on their sidelines. Also heard there was a Michael out there. Gressick eyeing up the defense, taking the snap, little play action, deep cross to big old Sweat.
Who again finds himself out of bounds. I mean, really, it's one of those things that can't be stated enough, the heady football plays.
Gressick takes a snap, looking for a cross to Testino, a little hook and ladder as Derek takes another big play downfield, nearly breaking it away for a touchdown.
You know, that's one of those ones that we found in the back of our old playbook together. That old hook and ladder really used to work well for the Monstars back in the day.
It's something that if you can get it going and time again come back to it, it will work.
I think our cameraman used to run that.
He found a way to score after that.
Gressick with the ball, dancing around again, looking deep.
Jump ball, tipped, and picked. And we see the Warriors end the first half with an interception.
Hell of a fight between the two teams there. Here we are at the half, and we're going to go over a couple keys to the game for both sides that they need to accomplish to hopefully walk away with our first champion.
Biggest thing I see in the first half right now is right now Gryffindor, to me, up front, both sides of the ball, they look very tired. They need to, figure it out and, suck it up and see what they can do in the second half. Now, for the Warriors, they had some big plays from some of their receivers, but it still looks like Bush has to do it all right now. And if they want to capture their first championship, then they're going to have to start spreading the ball out and not rely so much on Bush.
Yeah, I'll speak to kind of Matt's point. I know for a fact we have Rich Nordland out there dealing with an injury he sustained the night before while playing with the Stags. And we also have Brian's Big Sweat, who's been running around the country, it seems. Every time I look at anything he posts, he's in a new state. We also have Nick Martin. Nick, heavy drinker, as with the rest of Gryffindor, so we really don't have an idea what their blood alcohol content is this game.
Probably very high.
Yeah, I'm going to guess pretty high. But to really echo Matt's point, the big key for the Warriors to spread the ball to their playmakers. You got here on their backs. Don't be afraid to utilize the Parishes, the Coltons, the Ethans. Get the ball out to your guys. That's where you made your money.
Well, here we are done with halftime, and we're going to get right back into the swing of things and hopefully have a great second half. Opening play of the second half, we have Gryffindor coming out with the ball. Hopefully they got a good rest during that little break of ours, and we know that they need it. Saya eyeing up the defense. Takes a snap, play action, a little swing out to Weissmuller, trying to get him working.
Quick pull. Really big play right there. You want to try and limit those yards.
Biggest thing this second half is going to be Bush. Been here before, been in a bunch of championships. Gressick hasn't. Let's see who plays well.
Again, another Rookie of the Year candidate, and Ryan Gressick, the Messiah. Play out to Kevin Hunt, making a couple people miss.
Kevin really came on this year. I was a little skeptical when I saw him at quarterback a while back, but his defensive play, especially in this championship game, has been spot on.
Great linebacker for Gryffindor and a great outside receiver. Gressick with a little pump fake, dancing around, and he finds Steve yet again. Steve trying to make plays.
Who's the Steve guy?
It's apparently out there.
Gryffindor's O-line is starting to struggle a little bit. Messiah's been on the run past a couple plays.
They really got to shore it up front. If they give him a clean pocket, he can pick apart any defense.
Absolutely. And here he comes again with the ball. Testino running a deep route. He's looking deep. Comeback. Beautifully executed. Weissmuller trying to execute a little bit of a block. Testino out of bounds.
And that really speaks. He had a clean pocket. He was able to step up, survey the field, look, go through a read or two, and find Ant on a real late breaking route.
Open field here. He's got all of his playmakers out. Messiah looking around, dancing again. Falls down, but he still completes the ball out to Steve in the flat.
I have no idea how he managed to get that out.
Just natural quarterback feel.
There's just, you can't stop that.
Hard to game plan against that. Gressick calling out a couple audibles to his receivers. Little pump fake, rolling around. Fires a laser out to Kevin Hunt.
The difference right now, I think, why this game isn't a blowout, is because of number 15. Warriors making quick pulls, getting a lot of pressure on them, but Gressick still finding a way.
A little bit of a draw attempt to Dean. You know how he gets a little rough and rowdy in there and throwing a couple arms around. Still, short gain.
Dean is just one of those guys. He's just tough as nails. He doesn't care. He'll do what he needs. He's great in pass protection.
Aggressive again, a little crossover to DJ. Short of the end zone.
That was a great pull there. That really could have been 6 easily.
Warriors doing a good job of getting those quick flag pulls. They know what it takes to break big plays, and they're trying to stop their own game against them. Gressick takes the ball, surveys the field, dances around. Deep pass. Who else? Ant Testino.
All Ant does is intercept passes and catch touchdowns.
And from where Ant has come, from when he first came into the league to where he is now, is very impressive, the kind of player he's developed into.
There's a little pedophile on the field. He's walking away now. We're okay. And Bush, again, trying to make something happen to throw a block for his running back.
You know, you don't see a lot of quarterbacks throw blocks. That's something Warriors really ran exclusively this year. They pitched the ball to Parrish, and Bush would be the first one to meet a linebacker on the edge.
It's a great sign of a good leader. Bush again looking for that big draw he had earlier, trying to echo the same play, only a short gain on that one. You got to wonder, with the few reserves that the Warriors have, fatigue has to be a factor on their minds right now. Bush surveys the field. He's got a lot of time running around, making people miss, launches it deep. Nearly intercepted by Juice.
Great play by Ant there. He had a lot of time he had to cover, just stuck with it and made a play.
Turnover on the play, and Gryffindor coming back with the ball. Really need to be smart here with their play choices. Taking the ball, dancing around. We don't see Gressick run a lot, but he is capable of doing so.
Short gain there. I mean, you turn something from nothing to just a couple yards. Every little bit counts.
Yeah, absolutely. Messiah taking the snap again. Still keeping his eyes downfield. Sack, though, by Mike Hagan.
Mike's been unstoppable this year and probably the best pure pass rusher in the league right now. He just has that extra little bit, that next gear, that next level kind of talent.
Warriors coming back after that turnover. Bush knows he needs to make plays for his team here. Gets the ball into his biggest playmaker, Parrish, on a big sweep to the outside, hoping to make a few people miss. Solid game.
He does a really nice job of reading his blockers and following who he needs to do to get to that next level. Find his way into the secondary.
Loaded backfield here with Ethan and Parrish. Bush takes a snap. Little swing.
Broken up beautifully by Bird.
You can see the excitement on his face. Huge play for his team.
Bird was the last line defense there. If that ball gets completed, he could be going a long way.
Time's running down on this Warriors drive. See what kind of play they can make. Bad snap. Story of the game so far. Bush still trying to make plays. Flag pull by Gryffindor.
Those snaps really got to get up. I mean, it knocks a play out of its rhythm if you're reaching down and trying to reset.
For a quarterback not as experienced as Bush and natural in his feel of the game, to have to worry about a bad snap on simple plays, it does not help him.
I tell you, as this game unfolds, Mike Testino has really impressed me. The motor he has playing on the defensive line there, filling in for Harley, has been giving Bush somewhat of some headaches here.
It's definitely the boost that they needed. Gryffindor back here with the ball. Bush showing blitz, fires hard into the A-gap, lays into Gressick a little too hard.
No call, though. It's nice to see the refs letting him play.
The referees have done a fantastic job in our first inaugural season.
Average at best.
Fantastic, as I said. Gressick takes a snap, a little draw up the middle of Dean, and look at him rumble.
It's impressive to see Dean be able to succeed in this flag league. I knew of Dean a little bit from his Kittatinny days, and he was definitely a downhill smash mouth runner.
Another free play here.
Ref at the bottom of the screen finally got a call right here.
I think he did a fantastic job all game. Our league's head official holding things together with 2 rookie officials stepping in for this game.
And that ices it. Gryffindor is officially the champs. They finally break through and win their championship.
Gryffindor is finally life.
You see the presentation of the championship belt here. The joy on Gryffindor's faces. You look at a guy like Derek who has a game that he had out there and the story that he had going through this season with his suspension after a little bit of a meltdown early on, coming back, focused, determined.
It's really nice to see some of the guys who have been there through the little bit of the lean start that Gryffindor had. They really came together as a group of guys who were friends first and played football second and drank beer third.
I think that's number 1 for that.
Yeah, maybe I should reorganize things.
A little bit of a post-game wrap-up here and giving everyone's thoughts on the game that we just watched.
I thought the Warriors played a very good game. At the end of the day, it just seemed like Bush had to do a little too much. And he couldn't do it. Nothing against them. It's just, Gryffindor's a great team. Seemed like they kind of got starstruck in the big game moment. Gryffindor, I don't know about you guys. My MVP has been Gressick. He had a lot of pressure on him all game. He made plays, bought himself time, made big throws when he needed to. Let's not forget, Gryffindor didn't get here by accident. They beat OFG to get here, who's always had their numbers in the past. And then they, again, beat Warriors. They beat the top 2 teams to get here, so they didn't get here by accident. And they did it without not a full team this game. So they deserve to be here, and they deserve this win.
Yeah, I guess I would really like to start with the Warriors. If you would have told me before this season started that the Warriors were going to be playing in the championship game, I would have taken that bet any day of the week. I always knew they had incredible athletes, but I didn't think they'd be able to put it together just yet. Looking back on it, that's a hell of a season. If you can come in here and really kind of shock the league, especially, upsetting OFG a couple weeks back and really being the first team, being the first team to beat them, it's really kind of an impressive season. Obviously, it didn't end how they wanted it to end, but that's not a knock on them. They're going to be back. They're going to be stronger. We're going to see them here for a long time. And then Gryffindor, the key difference is Gressick. They had a great defense every year that they've been in the league. They always had a little bit of suspect quarterback play. Gressick made the difference. He was able to really draw up a good offensive plan, execute, find his playmakers, step up and avoid the heat that the Warriors brought. He really made the difference today.
I have to hand it to the Gryffindor team. They might be labeled as the biggest crap talkers in our league since last season and probably the season prior, constantly talking about G4L, Gryffindor for life, and probably being the loudest guys on the page, the loudest guys on the field, but they made their presence felt this season. They had some memorable wins, and they really came together when the time was right at the playoffs. They caught a stride, and like we mentioned, they took down the top 2 teams. And to do that and walk away as champions, that's one hell of a season. And congratulations to that team. For the Warriors, you have to be proud of the season that they put in. Like Matt said, if you would have told me before the season that the Warriors were going to run train on this league, be the ones to unthrone OFG and make it deep into the playoffs and into the championship, I don't know if I would have laughed in your face or slapped you first to try and get your senses right. But they proved everybody wrong. They were on limited numbers the entire season. They don't have many reserves, but they knew what they needed to do week in and week out to win. They had speed on the outside. They gave a clean pocket to Bush, and they did what needed to be done, but they fell a little bit short.
I think that brings up a good point, Brian. The Warriors' numbers seem to factor into things today. What do you think the Warriors could do moving forward to really improve their squad?
you saw what they did with just a few small additions this year, bringing in a guy like Mike Hagman, bringing in Eric Ryan, Joe Taggart. Those three very minuscule additions that nobody bat an eyelash at were pivotal in them getting to the championship. If they can find a couple more players of the same or even a little bit of a lesser caliber, just so that they aren't out there constantly, if their playmakers can get a breather every now and then and still have, a solid player on the field, if they can get some subs and get a little bit of depth, I think this team is going to be scary for more and more seasons to come.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point with the additions that we didn't really know. Mike, Eric, and Joe all came into the league kind of as unknowns. And I really think that could be a great opportunity for the Warriors. A lot of those guys come from Vernon. They pull from a huge area. And they don't have the competition for recruits out there. They can pull from a great group and not have to worry about other teams trying to sneak in and pull talent from each other. I think what would really benefit them next year, Bush was fantastic this year. I want to preface this statement with that. I think if they get a quarterback and they can slide Bush out to his natural position as a receiver and just make him another playmaker and really give another guy the opportunity to have the ball, they could be fantastic. They seem to shore up the line. Getting a natural quarterback in there, a guy that kind of distribute the ball, be the point guard of their offense, it could really make a difference.
Look what Gryffindor did. They went and got Gressick, and look where they are now. And
just so I don't repeat what Matt said, I think another big thing for the Warriors would be to find themselves a permanent tight end. That way can Mike just solely stay at DN, rush the passer. With a kid going both ways, as was, he was almost impossible to block as it is. So I think if he just focused, maybe sprinkle him in a few places in big situations on offense. But, I just think the numbers they can get to limit the amount of both-way guys that they have to have will just pay off for them in the end.
Truly scary thought.
Yeah, so then I guess let's go to the guys who won the game. As we've seen every single season, as soon as you're at the top, everybody's gunning for you. So what can Gryffindor do now to really cement their place as the team to beat?
Well, Rich should probably lose some weight.
Okay, let's start with realistic things that Gryffindor can do to really cement their place.
I think the biggest thing for them is going to be to stay modest. We all know, we all love Gryffindor, but they have the tendency to tell everyone they're the best, act like they're the best, talk a big game. It goes along when you're best, you get everyone's A game. It was impressive what OFG did the past 3 years, especially being the top dog. Everyone wants to be the one to knock you off. This is the first year that this Gryffindor team is going to have it, so their biggest thing is just kind of put their nose in the dirt, keep working, and be ready for everyone's A game.
I'm going to be very interested to see if a Gryffindor team can truly do that. If they can maybe cut out the smack talking and just sit atop their throne and smile down at everybody looking up at them. I don't know if it's going to be able to work for them. They're natural, boisterous people. They love to talk. It's part of their game. I don't know if that's something that they can cut out.
Now, what will be interesting is, as we know Gressick a little bit from kind of a couple conversations, he coaches. So it might be difficult for him to make some of these games next season. Gryffindor is going to need to find a solution at quarterback if that comes up. It could be a really interesting season to see if this was a one-time deal or they move forward as being a consistent repeat-type champion. Actually, looking back on the league history, I don't think we've ever had a single champion. I think everybody's at least repeated.
Yeah, dynasty.
So it will be really interesting to see if they're able to come back and, repeat and prove that this wasn't just a fluke.
Okay, so moving forward, since we're kind of broaching the subject of the future of the Gryffindor, the future of the Warriors, what are some things that you guys look forward to, not just with these two teams, but the league in general for next season?
The biggest thing on my mind is seeing how OFG responds. They were phenomenal for 2 straight seasons, and their record dictated that. Even this third year, we say they weren't as good, but they were still the 2nd seed going into the playoffs with 1 loss. That's incredible. It'll be interesting to see how they bounce back and if we see them in the championship game again soon. From a personal perspective, I think it's very feasible that we'll see them back at it next season, fighting for a chip in the championship game.
There's the OFG style of football. Being tough-nosed team, running the ball down your throat, controlling the clock, winning the game. They're comfortable in a 28-27 game. That's usually the games they expect. They don't expect so much to go out there and win 42-6. As team going back in the championship game. This was a Gryffindor style game. Warriors they don't like to play tight games. They used to, get that big turnover, get a pick six, and blow them away. OFG, they're comfortable playing the tight game, which in this league, you got Gryffindor, you got Warriors, you got War Machine. You're going to have a lot of close games, and the teams that thrive on playing the close games are the teams that are going to succeed, and that's why as long as OFG keeps those core guys together, they're always going to be a team to be reckoned with.
Something I'm looking forward to are how not only OFG but the other teams respond to this season. You have a team like Prestige Worldwide that jumped out of nowhere towards the end of the season with their young core of guys coming together as a team and lighting it up. You saw in the playoffs what happened when some of their superstars couldn't make it. They turned back into the old Prestige. But if they can get their studs on the field for an entire season, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. Then you have War Machine with the emergence of Eric Smith, the former NFL safety, coming in and running the defense for War Machine and showing why he played in the NFL. What are they going to do to bounce back? Are they going to try and find another former NFL player to pair with Eric and try and surprise everybody else again? Teams like Goon Squad that were hot in the beginning, a couple injuries derailed them. What are they going to do to bounce back? It's going to be an interesting fall, that's to be sure.
Yeah, and it really goes to speak to the talent that the league has when we mention a team with a former NFL player fifth in the broadcast.
Incredible.
It'll be really interesting to see how they retool and reorganize, and they're just a perennial powerhouse too. I think one of the things that'll be interesting too, and I'm sitting here with Matt Washer, who was part of the one-year wonder that the Kings were, is where the guys from the Kings end up next season. Obviously, from a personal perspective, the season didn't end how we wanted it to, but those guys are now free agents. That talent is back out there. It'll be really interesting to see where guys end up and who gets the King's ransom.
I like that a lot.
Terrible.
No, I like that.
Just a couple quick things. Prestige is going to be my team to watch out for. I still think they're a year or two away, but don't be surprised if you see them in the semifinals if they get their core guys back. Warriors, War Machine, they got a bunch of tricks up their sleeve. The rumor mills are floating around of guys they're trying to bring in, guys are bringing in. They're going to be back. Gryffindor, we know they'll be back. Warriors, it's going to be a very competitive league next year. And going along with what Matt said about Kings for Life, stepping down. Trademarked, by the way, by Matt Landolfi and Matt Washer. The big question now, I think, coming into free agency is Matthew Landolfi. How is your free agency coming along?
No comments as of now.
No comment.
A few teams have reached out to me, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to make a LeBron-style decision on it. But I guess that kind of brings us to a conclusion here.
One last thing. Next year's finals. Who you guys got?
Oh. I'm going Gryffindor over OFG 28-27 in OT.
I'm gonna say the same, but I think that we're gonna end up having a new team unrelated to any of the teams that are currently in. that gives everybody a big push and could find themselves in the final. So I'm going to say Gryffindor OFG. I'm not going to pick a winning team just because it's so far away. Man, that's tough though, because before this season I wouldn't have said the Warriors by any stretch of the imagination, and they shocked the hell out of me.
This new team, is that a hint there, Lando?
No hint, but I just know our league well enough.
It always happens.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's going to be some team that comes in that really cements themselves as another legitimate powerhouse.
I'm going to buy into the rumor mills here, and I'm going to go with War Machine Warriors, with Hilbert taking them over the top, winning in a 23-17 game.
Man, my prediction looks really lame compared to you guys with the scores.
Step up to the game.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it nice and simple. Man, it's the one thing I know for sure though, it's going to be another hell of a season.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to spending it with you guys. So thank you for listening. Really appreciate it. Hopefully this gains a little bit of traction. We'd love to do this moving forward. So I guess signing off, this is Matt Landolfi.
This is Brian McGuinness.
Matt Washer.
And thank you from everybody in the NJFFA.